So our process begins sketching in Procreate on the iPad Pro, primarily working in monolines for the first layer and then adding some fill and outlines. Here I'm now introducing weight on my ascenders and descenders, so that's how you can see it looks more vintage scripty as opposed to one thickness. So right now I'm just trying to figure out how exactly I want to organize these shapes, working on connections and taking some notes. Then I'm going into outlining. I thought that from here I'll move into vectorization, but as you'll later realize, I wasn't a big fan with the exact style of this typography, so I went back and changed it. Note that I'm working in some different colors, not just different layers, but because I want to know that I made these changes later on and they're optional. So look, I'm revising the art here because I didn't think it fit with style, and working in some magenta to add on some curves. I still realize though, I don't really like it. It looks too textbook scripty, and as you realize here in this new teal color, I make it a bit thicker. I make the weight a little more consistent, so the change in weight is not as dramatic, which helps it feel a bit more modern and robust. I want that more, new tutoring high school student type vibe, not old school academic memorization textbook approach, because that's not who we are. So now I'm working on connections between the letter forms. I don't want to, it's script, so I still need to have them touching, and I'm adding some pointy edges and flair to the text. And by this point, we're pretty much done with Procreate, so we move into Adobe Illustrator, where I start vectorizing and working more in terms of cleaning it up. So as you can see, I work primarily geometrically with shapes using straight lines, ellipses. I use the curve tool and the pen tool here and there, but I try to primarily use ellipses because curves can be slightly off. You have to edit them. They might not look just right, but shapes are aesthetically very pleasing to the human eye. So as you can see, I just kind of had like a curve that didn't look so good there, but shapes and geometry is very, very comfortable for us. That's why the Fibonacci sequence is used in logo design. I didn't use it here because I didn't do iconography, but a lot of symmetry and, design is a process of refinement. Early on, when you're thinking about ideas and how you want to approach it, is more creative and sketching, but at this point it's more technical. It still has to function as branding and design. It's not just a piece of art. It needs to work in various forms and media, which is crucial for logo design and graphic design in general. So this is kind of, I guess, the stuff they would teach you in university with a degree. So as you can see now, I'm cleaning up, just doing more and more refinement. Didn't like the, gleam on the eye, so I made it a circle. And now I'm just working with some different colors, but I realized I want to change some things, refine some things. So I go back to work in black and white. Black and white is typically the best to work with, especially when refining, because the heavy contrast is perfect. If you notice there for a split second, I reflected the text backward, and that helps because you start to see the logo then as a shape rather than type and having letter forms, which means you can see it more geometrically and structurally rather than something that's legible. So again, just working with this logo in various color forms, seeing how it looks, high contrast, low contrast. I'm just putting a gradient here, just messing around. I thought this was how I would present it, but I still had to go back and make a lot more changes, even off camera, that I don't capture here. I continue for an hour or two after this, maybe more, doing some really kind of boring refining work, minute details, but they contribute to this final product.